think, obviously you're saying things that how you feel at the moment, and some people might feel like you're ruffling feathers, but who do you think would care that much that they would want to threaten your life? Because you do feel like your life is a little bit threatened, right?
Yeah, I think I definitely when I start bossing up for my kids, I definitely feel. One second, let me just. Yeah, I definitely feel that I was pushing life to the limits by pushing into the truth of, like, we know that wasn't surprising when I put that image up of my youngest daughter.
Yeah.
That wasn't like the most surprising idea, but it'd be things that happen that we know happen that we just can't do anything about. But then they push whatever agendas, like on the media, that they want us to focus on. And that's something where, I don't know who the people are, so it would sound like real conspiracy theory. I just know that the kid from Lincoln Park got killed for expressing some of these same truths. And for me, just as a father, at a certain point, it's not about, it never was that, but when you're a celebrity, it starts to be about more of what fame is going to get you, what clout is going to get you.
Testing 1 2, testing 1 2.
What money is going to get you over. Is this the right thing for your children? And, I'm willing to die for my children or to allow them to be in this kind of environment that I know they're in. And what I noticed on the comments, they always used to try to, like, for the past 10 years, they used to try to write me off. Oh, he's so crazy, he's so crazy. I'm seeing the comments is now like 60, 70% like, yo, he's just telling you exactly what's going on. He's just the only one that's in a position to be able to do it, because I don't have any brand sponsorships. It's like I'm past cancel. So these people.
Ye said he past cancel. What y'all think? I think he's proven that he's past cancel, man. Hit that like button if you're coming in. Feel free to throw something in the chat. I got my chat box open. I will be responding under a different account, but I still will be responding to whatever chats come in the box. Welcome to the stream. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is having an okay day. Whole lot's going on. I took a break, like I told y'all in my earlier stream this afternoon, but I'm going to get back on here and start talking about pretty much everything. Anything that happens, I want to respond to it. I want to respond, and I want to get out in front of certain things. So, like I said, hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so. Y'all saw the thumbnail, Kodak Black. There's some clips of him circulating around X right now, where he's saying that him, Kendrick, and Ye are the KKK because they Jews. And I love it, right? I love it. So we're going to get into that and talk about a couple other things as well. All right. Y'all remember this interview that Ye did with DJ Academics? I don't even think it's been a year. It may have been a year. Epic interview. Epic interview. So much information was dropped. So many nuggets of information. So much gold was just thrown all out there. And I thought it would be fitting to start the stream with this particular interview because Kodak said they're the KKK. Now, this is not traditionally a KKK outfit, KKK attire that Ye's wearing here. But, everyone's triggered, right? They see the hooded hat and they automatically, their brains have been conditioned to go to, this is KKK, this is KKK. And it's not. It's not. This particular uniform or outfit or attire is worn in places in Europe through certain religious ceremonies, and it symbolizes something. I haven't looked deeply into what this outfit symbolizes, but I might need to get into it sooner rather than later on what this means. Okay, so let's hear a little bit more of this interview. Then we're going to get into some of the things Kodak was saying and some other interesting topics. Let's go.
People out here, they toying, they playing. It's interesting. The swastika, I want to just, I know we have a little bit of time. I want to tell you, by doing it, it's sort of like a magnet where people get so mad and they start exposing themselves because the Jews, they move in the tunnels. They move where you can't see them. They're their invisible hand, and they'll get like, what they'll do is they'll threaten people. Oh, we're going to take your tours away. We're going to drop your artists.
You know, that swastika symbol, guys, that is actually a symbol or representation of the sun. The sun. I want y'all to think about that for a minute. The sun.
You got to say this. Like, how many people I stand with my Jewish people, 3 years ago? And what I did is I stood on it this time. I never backed down. That's my whole thing. That's why I was mad about removing that. Somebody taught me into removing that Jay-Z tweet, because it was just like, nah, the whole idea is no matter what, I'm not going to back down. So by doing the swastika chain, it then ruffled some feathers. And then I really saw the comparison of me and Puff with the Diageo and the Adidas situation. Yeah. Regardless if they could have locked me up for taxes or not, they wasn't playing fair. Like, okay, cool, fair deal. You did good, we did good. It's like, no, you leaving with nothing. We have to destroy you. Even though they came and used us to tap into the culture and make money off of black people and people who enjoy black culture. If we said, like, yo, you doing this wrong, you stealing my style, you taking all of my employees, you taking Jerry Lorenzo and making him do my same designs as he's a agreeable Kamala nigga. They started lowering the budgets for Puff. So I related to Puff, and then they pulled out a video with him and Cassie from 10 years ago. And then it made everybody be like, oh, Puff's a woman beater, so he's the devil. He needs to be in jail. Right? Meanwhile, I don't know somebody who hasn't gotten into an altercation with a girl at one point, and including Cardi. So now Cardi's like the number one guy at Rolling Loud, and Puff is in jail. And then you got two women beaters and you got two supposed pedophiles. Watch this. You got three. Watch this. Cardi, Puffy, Kendrick, the two pedophiles, Drake, R. Kelly, or supposed. Puffy and R. Kelly are in jail with Drake 5 years from now, or however long, when they feel like they really want to get that boy up out here, they're going to play the Kendrick song. So that's how far they going. The Kendrick mixed with the Universal, all that takedown of Drake reminds me of the No Diddy campaign for Diddy. Like, they going all out. But see, I know how to go all out, and I'm not even in that position. I just work on behalf of God. Like, how this shit comes together, the timing, everything is like a God sense. I had a couple things I want to say. So I pushed into the Puff song. I put my daughter on the song. The timing was so perfect. She went in, rapped it. She said, I'm getting sleepy. So she said, okay, good night. And that was the end. And she was giving me like the Lil Kim on the old Bad Boy record. So that's why we put that. And the idea was family. It's so many people who dad actually killed somebody, and they would do anything to have their dad home. The two twins, and Christian lost, their mama died and their daddy in jail. And everybody running around listening to murder music, right? But being like, Puff is the enemy. And when I see all these videos, all tapes, everything, Puff more like my twin. Me and him got into it because it's just like I'm telling these top 5 niggas, it's like, yo, actually we probably could be friends, but nigga, you ain't bringing none of that shit over here, nigga. Y'all niggas ain't as crazy as me. And that's why I asked Puff back in the days. It's like, man, how you just made it through all this shit and that shit? He's like, I'm the craziest one, nigga. It's like, so once them people, we family, we can get into it. But they started taking that shit too far. I started taking it personal at a certain point with Puff, like all of the media. Because I wake up every day, whether I did something positive, negative, somebody got something negative to say. You know what I'm saying? So I relate to the idea of being torn down by the media. You know what I'm saying? But keep going. I know, because we got a short amount of time. I just want to hit you with that. Yeah.
That's facts, man. The media pick and choose for us, man. And we go, maybe we getting better, maybe not. But they pick and choose our battles for us. Prime example is that Carmelo Anthony, Austin Metcalf thing, man. You guys just run away with that thing and just get sucked into that particular narrative or that situation, I should say. And then the narrative as well. Oh, it's racial, you know. But I highlighted on my channel that a 14-year-old girl in my town got stabbed in middle school by another young girl her age. Dead, stabbed in the neck. Where was the whole CNN? Where was Fox News? No, because that's not going to get y'all attention. They don't, that's fine. They rather highlight 2 high school age boys getting into an altercation and it going bad as opposed to highlighting another one. So that's what the media does with guys like Puff, whether it be R. Kelly, whoever. They pick and choose and say, we're going to burn this person to the ground.
Yeah, no, I mean, so like the whole thing about, and even whether it's the outfit, the swastika, I think some people like, they feel like you're spreading hate. And
I'm sorry.
Encouraging violence versus people.
The thing that I forgot to say was, when my daughter was put on song, that's when I realized that I didn't own their name and likeness. So watch this. All the brands that I've made, I don't get the name and likeness ownership, or at least 50-50 with my kids. So how's it joint custody? My kids are celebrities, and I don't have to say so. So watch this one. So this white woman and this white family have the control of these highly influential black kids that are half the children of Ye. And that's just in everybody's face. And they was playing in my face like that. You know, I try to go to Champagne and keep it calm. And my dad would call me and say, "Ye, don't go in on that woman because it's going to affect the children." But now it's like,
I'm going to be dropping little nuggets. Ye spent a lot of time in Japan. He's back from Japan, been back for a while. What is Japan known as? The land of the rising sun. Somebody gonna pick up on what I'm putting down one of these days.
it's war. Y'all niggas, they think they too powerful. The Jews think they too powerful. Think they could get Cardi to play with me. They think they too powerful. They think they could get Kim to play with me. The Jews and the whites above the Jews. You get what I'm saying? My life is on this shit now.
The Jews and the whites above the Jews. That went over a lot of people's heads, y'all. See, y'all don't understand the game is being played right now. We're going to stop right there on this particular video. I want to end it right there. Ye said the Jews and the whites on top of the Jews. This story is biblical. This is a biblical story we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. They got you focused in on everything but the truth and the word and the living word. Why would Ye say the Jews and the whites above the Jews? That went over people. A lot of people was confounded by that particular bar right there. But it makes perfect sense when you understand the roles and the positions that people have on earth. I said this in my last thing. If you believe that the Jewish people are from Jacob, are the literal descendants from these people here, that you guys say, bless Israel. If you think that Ben Shapiro's crew is part of that need to be blessed, you're deceived, guys. That's just what it is in 2026. It's been like that since day one, actually. But if you're not up to that speed right now, you're lacking. You're lacking. You're lacking in your discernment. All right. So let's get into it. We're going to get straight into it. This is not, where is this guy at? If you're dealing with this guy, they say bless those who bless will be blessed and all that. And you got a picture of this guy as the blessee. Man, you so fucking far behind right now. You are going to burn. And I mean that. You're going to burn. The sun is going to destroy you. So let's see what Kodak's talking about.
On an entire people.
I was going to say the number, that's the difference.
It's not the number.
Because 6 million, well, also, African Americans are actually Jew also, the lost tribe of
I can
Israel.
push back on that too.
Okay, so well, everyone came from Africa.
I am African. I'm basically African American. We're brothers.
And we're both Jew, and we're brothers. So
We're human.
6
That still kind of irks me today that Lex has the nerve to say he can push back on something, yo. That kind of irks me. This Russian come over here and gonna tell us who we are. So that's the problem too, a lot of with us, quote unquote, those that are labeled Black American. We allow other people to tell us who we are. We got to take ownership of our identity. You have to own it because they're not going to give it to you. You got to take it spiritually. Okay? I never speak of violence. I believe that vengeance is of the Lord. I really do. I believe that forgiveness is our superpower. But we have to own who we are and know who we are. So Ye said Black people are Jews. Do you notice how they never touch that? They never get into that. They'll go around the whole Marbury bush about he said this and DEF CON and this, that, and the third. And oh my goodness, he says they run the media and they run the Hollywood and they run the government and the money and this, that, and the third. They'll never touch that statement that he just made there though. They never touch that statement. They don't touch that statement. Ben Shapiro will get on there and cry about Ye till the cows come home, but he will never address the Ye saying that Black Americans are Jews. And I have to ask, do y'all think he's lying? Really? You think he's lying? Of all people on earth right now, you think that man's lying? Someone said in a podcast, I can't remember what it was, and forgive me for this. They made a point about Ye has never been one to tell us lies. And the host of the podcast, or whoever he was interviewing, I can't remember which person, tried to downplay that particular statement that the guy made. But think about it. When has Ye been known to just outright lie? Matter of fact, I think, you know who said that? It wasn't a podcast. It was, who was the white guy who just died? He died not too long ago. He used to do the Dilbert cartoons. Scott something, I think his name is. He just passed away from cancer. I can't think of his name right now. Forgive me for that. But he actually kind of reacted to this interview between Ye and Lex Friedman. And he said, you know, has Ye been known to be a liar? No, he has not. I'll give you the answer. So of all the things Ye has said, do y'all think he's lying when he says that the Black Americans are Jews? No one finds it strange that in 2026, that identity, that mystery has yet to be publicly proclaimed. About, okay, here's who they are. Y'all don't put two and two together. Y'all don't add up the fact that in order for this new world and this America that so many people are proud of and say that their forefathers helped build and all these things that they proclaim their greatness from the history of America and the new world, right? Y'all don't put two and two together to realize, okay, in order for this new world to be birthed, that quote unquote Black people had to go into captivity. Y'all act like that's separate. Y'all act like the captivity and the conquering of who we know as Black Americans is separate from the evolution of this new world, this order out of chaos that they have us living in. It's not separate. In order for these people to take control and to conquer, they had to go after the leaders. That's just what it is. I talked about Dumb Dot Versus in several videos before. Go look into Dumb Dot Versus. That was the beginning of the end of our reign. Dumb Dot Versus was signed by Pope Nicholas V. He authorized Portugal and Spain to seek out and destroy those he classified as pagans, Saracens, and enemies of Christ. He signed them diverses within a day of two major eclipses that took place. This is a spiritual battle. And boom, all hell broke loose for us. Now, I can't tell you how they found some kind of way to like strip us of our identity. I don't know how they did that. I don't know if they killed all the elders and only raised the children to teach them that they were some kind of African or something like that. I'm not sure how every little piece worked out, but I'm looking at the big picture and I'm seeing that one thing couldn't have happened without the other. And I'm telling you guys, I said this before, and I like to repeat myself because I know I'm speaking the truth. The last book in this Bible is called the Book of Revelation. It's not called the book of we already knew that. It's not called the book of that's information is taught in Harvard. It's not called the book of duh. It's the book of Revelation. Things are going to be revealed. Huge, huge secrets, huge mysteries, biblical level mysteries, biblical level deceit. It's right here. It's literally right here in this book. It's the book of Revelation for a reason. And I'll say this. If quote unquote Black Americans were just nobodies, right? If we had the same glory as, say, a Somalian, or the same glory as a Samoan, or the same glory as a one of those people in the Amazon, they would have told us that we were those people by now. We would know. But the fact that they keep that hidden from us is further evidence that we are greater spiritually than what's being told to us and what's being taught to us. It's clear. So let's see what Kodak had to say. We're going to spend a lot of time on here tonight. We're going to go through a lot of bookmarks on my X here. Y'all know Ye's been doing a lot of shows. I greatly appreciate that, man. He's really, really, really doing great things. He came to San Antonio, which is not too far from where I live. And so unfortunately, man, I couldn't make it to that show. And what will we do without Ye right now? We're going to get more into Ye. This is a very powerful statement. I want y'all to understand the significance of this. Ye is like the first, right? Ye's the first. He's always the first. And then everything kind of like falls in line with what he does or says or what happens to him. I've noticed that I can't explain it. He's the first. And he's symbolic of so many things, right? Listen to Ye here speak about his name change. Watch this.
Calling me out of my name is Ye. Anytime they say Kanye West, I change my name. It's like Cassius Clay to Ali. You respect me as a man, as an American, that my name is Ye, that I have the right to choose what my name is. So when media does that, it's already disrespect. I love rappers. Rappers are artists. But when media calls me a rapper, specifically to not bring up the fact that I'm worth $11 billion, that I'm the richest black man of all time, that I'm a billionaire, that I'm a tycoon, that I'm a visionary. And if I say that, if I say those three things, then they'll say I'm a narcissist, right? But they push you down so much that you got to fight just to say who you are.
That is true for all of us. And it's symbolic, guys. We're not going to be black forever. We're going to get a new name. We're going to get a new name. And when we get our name, this particular status quo system is going to do everything in their power to keep calling us black. They're not going to respect the fact that we changed our name to Ye. They're not going to respect that. He says they want to hide the fact that he's worth $1 billion. Now, I know y'all look at that as a monetary thing, right? But it's still symbolic because guess what? We're worth so much more than what they let on. Our spirit, our nature, who we are, what's underneath is worth so much more than they will ever let y'all know. We are rich, guys. We are rich. And our riches are to help heal all mankind. All mankind. Let's get into this. Here's Ye again saying it. I'm going to keep playing.
You know what I'm saying? We're not following y'all rules.
Any of the anti-Semitic stuff you might have said?
Black people can't be anti-Semitic. We are Jew. You understand what I'm saying? We are Jew. So cool out. Until you do your facts, until you really do the facts of the fake indoctrination that y'all pull into the schools and all that, you know what I'm saying? We're not following y'all rules.
He said it again. Y'all think Ye's lying? I don't like, it's a shame that, we don't have our native language because, the English language, which is, plenty room in the English language to express yourself, but there's not really quite an English word for everything you want to say, right? I don't want to use the word sad. I don't want to really necessarily use the word empathy, but I feel a certain something for the world. The level of deception, lies that you all are living under right now. I believe in Revelation, it says that John marveled at the woman. He marveled. In some context, he marveled. And I understand that, I'm marveling at the level of deception and lies you all are willing to accept or not even question. You just live under this lie. What's that going to do to the world when this truth is made known and accepted? What does that do? What does that do to these countries? What does that do to the people that are saying that they're Jewish? What does that do? What does that truth do to this particular day-to-day that we're all living right now? How does it change? They lied about the land. They say that land over there in the Middle East, another lie, is the promised land. That's another lie. It's another lie, ladies and gentlemen. That's not true. It's just lie upon lie upon lie. Now, I want to get into what Nick Fuentes said real quick. I think that I have a bookmark. Let's get into the bookmarks. And we're going to get into Kodak and Kodak and what he said here towards the end. Listen to it.
The other day.
Here we go. And a lot of Nick Fuentes' Groyper followers hate the fact that Nick Fuentes holds Ye in such high regards, and they don't like that. They can't fathom how a black guy has the hearts and minds of the people like this.
I was telling somebody about this the other day. Here's why the cuck thing is so genius, okay? I was thinking about it. So when Ye starts his rap career, he's like a nerd. What was popular when he did College Dropout in, was that 2003? the most popular rappers were all gangster rap. It was the glam era gangster rap. And so it's 50 Cent, it's everybody rapping about the hood and killing niggas and all that. And so when Kanye West comes on the scene, he releases College Dropout. And he's wearing a polo shirt and a backpack, and he's rapping about relatable stuff. And everybody says that's gay. That's gay. You know, you're not a gangster. You're not from the streets. You're not from the ghetto. You don't gangbang. But that was revolutionary because then in 2008, Kanye's Graduation beats 50 Cent's album on 9/11 in 2008 and blows 50 Cent out of the water. So Kanye's here to stay. It's officially cool to be a pop rap artist, make these stadium anthems about your feelings, you know, about his big bro Jay-Z, about all this kind of stuff. He makes 808s and Heartbreaks later. I think it was 2007. 808s comes out in, what is that, 08? And 808s changes the game again because it's not even a lot of rapping. It's like more of a pop album. It's got melodies. He's talking about breakups and stuff like that. And then this influences a whole next generation, Drake and Lil Uzi Vert and the rest of them. Okay, fast forward to 2025. Every rap song is like, I'm going to fuck your bitch. I'm going to fuck your bitch. I'm going to take your bitch. I fucked your girl. So what does Ye do? He switches it up again. He says, no, I want you to fuck my girl. I like I actually like it. So it's just another inversion. It's just every rap song is, I'm going to take your bitch. Kanye comes out with Cuck and says, what if I like that though? Go ahead, take her. She's going anyway, go ahead, take her. What if I want you to fuck my bitch? Take her. Genius, it's genius. No, I'm kidding a little bit. This is a joke. Obviously, it's a bit, it's a joke. Don't.
Notice how Nick said it's another inversion. That's why I like the whole idea of Ye being bipolar, because everything is an inversion. See, Nick, sometimes, we say things and we don't realize how our words will come to pass. Nick just made a very, very poignant point there. Everything's inverted. It's an inversion. Jesus is white, remember? The Jews are whites, remember? Everything's been inverted. And Ye understands that, and that's why his art is so, so powerful. Because it's strange that the truth is the inversion now. The truth is the inversion. The truth is literally the upside down. So shout out to Nick for that. And a lot of his quote unquote followers don't really necessarily like Ye, or they're critical of Ye. And that's fine. You guys are gonna have to come along and realize that, guess what? Y'all don't have a Ye, quote unquote white America. You don't have a Ye. Y'all have everything but a Ye. Where's your white Jesus energy? Where's the man of European descent that has the spirit or energy that comes anywhere near the idea of Jesus? I don't see it. Point him out, please. Now, white guys like this make me laugh because they don't get it. Check it out.
Certainly the American people. These rats will try to take credit for everything under the sun. The 4th of July and American independence have absolutely nothing to do with Israel. The 4th of July symbolizes the exact opposite of America's relationship with Israel. The 4th of July symbolizes the United States of America, and most importantly, the American people asserting our sovereignty, breaking away from foreign control and from foreign influence. George Washington warned the American people of foreign alliances because they'd end up exactly like this one, a parasitical relationship.
God, George Washington was a Mason. He was into the occult. Many other founding fathers were. You think God is blessing this Masonic ass alliance? What y'all don't understand is that with guys say that America wouldn't exist without the Israelis, they're not lying. It's actually a fact. It's the truth. Because that's their role.
Anymore. We do not.
And we're going to break down their role towards the end of this live tonight. I'm going to break down to y'all what the Jewish role is in America and in the world. We're going to talk about a little bit of things such as why, everyone feels like they need a nuclear weapon, why there's still wars. When you read the Bible, it talks about that when the people of Israel are back in their land, and land doesn't necessarily mean a physical place. Sometimes it means in their proper place in the earth. Okay? That there would be war no more. That there would be peace. Do we have peace? Absolutely not.
Not know our own.
Listen to Glenn Beck. And then we're going to listen to another guy talk to y'all about the importance of Israel in America. The Israelis in America.
We do not know our own story anymore. We have raised a generation that knows when it comes to the scriptures. If we're lucky, they know David dropped Goliath. Jonah met some sort of big fish. Noah built a boat. But they have no idea what these stories are telling them. They've lost the verses. They've lost the story. They've lost the covenant. They know Jesus loves them, praise God, if we're lucky. But they can't tell you any more than that. They can't tell you why. They can't tell you why he came to the house of Israel first. And the people who have lost the story can easily be talked out of it. Listen, you cut Israel out of the story, and I promise you it will not stop there. Eventually, you'll cut out another Jew in the story, that Jewish carpenter guy who stood.
See, I'm so sick of people saying Jewish carpenter and Jesus was Jewish. That's a lie from the fucking pits of hell. Excuse my language. I'm allowed one profane word. Paul said, I may be rude in speech, but not in knowledge. Jesus wasn't Jewish. He was an Israelite from the tribe of Judah. Jewish is an invention, ladies and gentlemen. That whole word is an invention. You'll listen to rabbis and these guys like Glenn Beck get on there and says that Moses was Jewish. What? Moses was a Levi. He wasn't Jewish. The Jewish people were saved from Egypt. What are you talking about? The Israelites were saved from Egypt. I think they do it purposefully to try to trick God, actually. Because they want to be blameless. And at the end of the day, they want to be blameless. They want to say, hey, God, we never said we were the Jews of the Bible or the Israelites. We said we were Jewish. It's not my fault that they believed it, that we were saying Israelites. We said the whole time we're Jewish. And if you think I'm lying, if you think it's if it's that petty, go watch some of their videos about how they get around in the Sabbath when it comes to turning on lights and turning on fires and some of the stuff they go through to try to trick God. Jesus was not Jewish under any circumstances. As a matter of fact, in this version of the Bible, the King James, the word Jewish only appears one time. And it's not talking about a particular people, and it's not in a positive way. It's not in a positive way. It's not. And I can show y'all that. If y'all want to see it, let me know. Throw it in the chat, and I'll throw it in there to show y'all that one time the word Jewish appears in the King James version of the Bible. It's not a positive reference. So these guys are deceiving. You think Glenn Beck, guys? Think about this, guys. Come on, guys. Let's just be. Come on, man. Oh my goodness. Y'all think Glenn Beck is the harbinger of truth and love and life that Jesus brought? Really? Glenn Beck? Glenn Beck. You think when the sky cracks, as everybody thinks, Glenn Beck is going to be, God's going to say, oh, thou'th Glenn Becketh. Thank you for leading the people. Are you fucking kidding me, guys? Okay, that's 2 profane words. Are you kidding me? This wicked, well-fed pig. We're dealing with pigs, lowlifes, degenerates. Lovers of lies, dogs, heathens. That's what we're dealing with right now. That's who has your ear. Glenn Beck. Give me a damn break. And then I have to say this about the quote unquote white race. I don't dislike quote unquote white people at all. But I'm trying to figure out, when did you guys become the authority on what this book is talking about? By your own admission, you're not even Shemitic. You don't come from Shem. You guys come from Japheth. Show me in this book one place where it says that Gentiles, Shem would be the prophet. Japheth or Hamites would be the prophets, would speak the word of God. Where do you get your authority from? Could you imagine Glenn Beck trying to break down Tupac lyrics for y'all and then arguing to you what Tupac was trying to say? It's the same thing. It's the same absurdity. Could you imagine Glenn Beck sitting down in front of Brenda's Got a Baby telling you, no, Tupac didn't mean that right there? It's the same absurdity. But it tells you in the scriptures that Japheth shall dwell in the tents of Shem. So they literally living in the tents of Shem. Where's the other pastor at? They were mad at this guy. They didn't like this.
But just sit tight for just a second.
Which one is this? Which well-fed pig is this? This is, I don't even know who this is, man. I don't know who this guy. I've seen his face before. One of them little vile men. Y'all know his name. Let's see what he has to say.
They don't teach this in public schools anymore, but just sit tight for just a second. From the earliest days of this republic, Jewish Americans have woven their genius, their sacrifice, their faith and courage into the fabric of our national life. Hyam Solomon gave to George Washington over $650,000. He was a Jewish banker. That $650,000 would be more.
He was a Jewish banker. He gave $650,000 to Washington. See, what y'all gonna realize here, and I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of the information right now, is that America, this land that they call America over here, is the promised land. And I'm gonna put it even more to you. Manifest Destiny was the Greater Israel project. The Greater Israel Project, or whatever they want to call it, was Manifest Destiny. They already did it. See, what a lot of you quote unquote white Americans are going to have to come to realize is that your forefathers inherited lies. They didn't tell your forefathers that you were stepping onto God's land. They didn't tell your forefathers that you were destroying and calling the Israelites black and Negro and African American. They didn't tell y'all that. They told you they were savages and Indians and slaves. So when he says this statement, he's not necessarily lying, but he's not telling you guys the truth. And if a story has even a little bit of a lie in it, the whole thing's a lie. It's all a lie. There is no such thing as a half truth. It's either all the way good or all the way bad. There is no halves. So when he says this Jewish banker gave George Washington money, well, what was the interest of the Jewish guy to give the money to George Washington? Because when you realize that Jewish people are Edom and that black Americans are Jacob, you'll see that the relationship that Edom has with Jacob is to always be there to subdue his brother. Edom is the only force, the only nation of people on earth that were granted the blessing from the Father to be able to subdue his brother Jacob. If you look out through this whole book, anytime the Israelites were having a major problem with another nation, guess who was there to help the whole time? Edom. Babylonians, somewhat the Assyrians, the Greeks, the Romans, the Persians, Rome, now America. It was always Edom, because Edom has to be the one. If the Roman Empire tried to subdue Israel all on their own without the help or assistance of Edom, of Esau, it wouldn't work because they don't have that blessing. Only Esau does. That's why when I showed you that video earlier, when Ye said the whites above the Jews, and when Ye said that here in this particular interview, that's what he was talking about. That's what he's talking about.
Than $20 million in today's money. He gave it to George Washington because George Washington's army didn't have good guns. They were going barefooted. They had nothing to eat, and they were getting ready to attack the Hessians. Because of the fledgling government was unable to repay these loans, Chaim Solomon died penniless and is buried today in a grave that cannot be found. At the age of 44, he gave his all for America and for our freedom. God bless the sacred memory of this precious man.
Disgusting. What a pig. These guys are evil, bro. Y'all have no idea. It's gonna be weeping and gnashing of teeth. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth when this is all said and done. The lies run rampant, excuse me. I mean, it's lie upon lie upon lie upon lie upon lie. That's all they tell. So let's check out what Kodak Black had to say here. Now, notice all of the clippings that I have from people who posted about this. Look what they say. And this is that word magic again I was telling y'all about. This is from Daily Loud. Kodak Black. Here, we'll make it a little bit bigger for y'all. Kodak Black says his group with Kanye West and Kendrick Lamar is called KKK, and they are all three Jewish. He didn't say they were Jewish. That's another lie. Say cheese. Kodak Black reveals that his group name with Ye and Kendrick Lamar is called KKK because they're all woke and Jewish. Kodak Black didn't say they were Jewish. See, that implies that they're reading some Talmud or some bullshit like that. That's not what he didn't say that. I'm trying to see if there's another one. This is from No Jumper. Let's see what they had to say. Kodak Black says he shares interests with Ye and Kendrick Lamar, combining their initials to create the group name KKK. Me, Kanye, Kendrick, bro. You know what our group called KKK. We KKK, bro. Yeah. So let's see what he has to say. Here's Kodak.
Me, Kanye, and Kendrick, bro. You know what our group called? KKK. We the KKK, bro. Cause like we woke, like we pro-black. I mean, we woke, bro. We woke, and we smart, and we Jews. We black Jews. We Israelite. You feel me? You feel me? My father named David, so I'm the star of David. You feel me? You get it? Like my daddy, his shit 12/22. His birthday 12/22. My birthday 6/11. What that mean? That mean like I'm the star of David. Me, Kanye, and Kendrick, bro. Me, Kanye, and Kendrick, bro. You know what our group called? KKK. We the KKK, bro. Cause like we woke, like we pro-black, and we smart, and we Jews. We black Jews. We Israelite. You feel me? Me, Kanye, and Kendrick, bro.
Did y'all hear the word Jewish come out of his mouth? Now, y'all know Kendrick Lamar did a song on the album Damn. He said, I'm an Israelite, don't call me black no more. That word is just the color. That word ain't facts no more. So a lot of that, even that song DNA appears to be him letting us know that it's in our DNA. We got royalty, got loyalty inside our DNA. From my understanding, Kodak been saying that he knew we Israelites for a minute now. He knows that. And y'all think it's insignificant when a guy like Kodak says it. It's not. Kodak Black has more influence than a lot of these guys y'all see on TV. A lot of these young guys and gals love Kodak. And that's what's most important. A lot of these people love Kendrick. White, black, Hispanic, whatever the case may be. So when they say these things, it resonates more than anything Ben Shapiro can say. Kodak Black got more influence than Ben Shapiro, whether you understand it or not. Kodak Black has more influence than Ben Shapiro. I'm telling you right now. So Ye knows, Kendrick knows, Kodak knows. We know. That's the rumor. That rumor's growing louder and louder. The Black Americans are Jews. The Black Americans are Jews. Did you hear that? You heard that? It's a rumor. And guess what? The word rumor is in this book. So it's not an ungodly thing. Rumors come from God. They can. That's the rumor right now. The rumor is that Black Americans are the Jews. Y'all think he lying? Y'all think he lying? Let me take a break real quick. I'm going to change the title of this real quick, and we're going to do a Bible lesson. Stand by. Are we back? Let's get into it. We're going to get into some Bible verses right now. Why does Kodak, why does Ye, why does Kendrick and others say that Black Americans are the Jews? Let's look into it, guys. So I got my Strongs up, and we're going to get into some information here. Let's get into it. Let's start with Moses. I'm trying to find the verse. We're going to find the verse. Y'all work with me. I don't have all of the Bible verses memorized like that. But in the Bible, it tells you in Genesis or in Exodus that Moses was trying to get confirmation from God that God was actually calling him. Okay? Here it is, Exodus 4:6. Why does Kodak, why does Ye, and why does Kendrick say that Black Americans or blacks that are those that have suffered or were captives in this particular new world that they created. Why are they saying things like that? Why are they saying that we're the Jews? Is it just out of thin air? Or is there anything scripturally to back up the claim, first of all, that these people had color? They were considered that they were dark-skinned. All right. This is Exodus 4 and 6. This is before Moses went into the land of Egypt. This is him still wrestling somewhat with God, receiving revelation from God that God is actually with him. Okay. And the Lord said furthermore unto him, put now thine hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom. And when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. So Moses put his hand in his bosom, and when he brought it out, it was leprous as snow, meaning it was white. And y'all have seen dark-skinned people with that condition with their skin where it turns very, very pale. So we've seen that before. We've seen that particular condition before. So it's not out of this world to see that. We've actually seen that. Now, if Moses was Jewish, would that miracle or that particular revelation have meant that much if a fair-skinned Ben Shapiro stuck his hand in his bosom and pulled it out? It wouldn't look anything different like that. It wouldn't be astonishing. Okay? This is Exodus 2 and 9. Now, regardless of what they tell y'all guys, the Egyptians were quote unquote black Africans, okay? The people you see running around in Egypt today, they are leftovers from several periods of conquering of Egypt. The Greeks, I think the Persians had a spell with Egypt. The Romans had time in Egypt. And then more recently, when Muhammad took power, they invaded Egypt around the 7th, 8th century. That's why Egypt now is predominantly filled with a bunch of Arab colored people. So don't think, look at America. Look how much America, the dynamic of America has changed within the last 100 years. So just because you see a group of people sitting somewhere on a land doesn't mean that they're the people of the land, okay? This is what they said about Moses. So to give you a little backdrop of the story, when Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh, he ended up at a watering hole, and he assisted some young ladies in feeding their flock or watering their flock. And when they got home early, their father asked them, how did y'all get home so early? And we'll start from Exodus 2:18. And when they came to Ruel, their father, he said, how is it that ye are come so soon today? And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us, and watered the flock. So as you can see, Moses was confused to be an Egyptian. He wasn't confused to be a Ben Shapiro. All right. If you're just joining us, I'm going through scriptures on why guys like Kodak, why Ye, why Kendrick Lamar are saying that blacks, all right, Western Hemisphere blacks are Jews. I'm showing that there is biblical references that point to that as being a truth, not even a fact. It's more than a fact. It's a truth. Okay. I want to get into this thing a little bit too. Now, when you talk to any Jewish rabbi, and we got clips of that too, right? Let's see if we can find this clip right here. I want to kind of talk about this right here because this happened too over the weekend where one of the guys from an Israelite camp.
There's no such thing. Jewish is a made-up name too.
Sat down with this ridiculous rabbi here. And, you know, he did whatever he had to do, I guess. He did what he had to do, and it is what it is, right? But listen to this quick back and forth between a Black American and a Jewish rabbi. I don't know what they're going to say particularly, but check it out. The rabbi basically says there's no such thing as Palestine. And here's Tazariak's response. Here we go.
There's no such thing Palestinian. It's a made-up name. There's no such thing.
Jewish is a made-up name too. It's Jews. It's Judah.
Jews come from Judah.
Jewish is made up.
Yehudi
is not Jewish. That's Hebrew.
Yeah.
It's
Yehudi
Jew.
means Yehudi.
Jew.
In English, Jewish means Yehudi.
Listen, you're either Jew, Judah, Jews.
Jewish
is fake.
Listen, who made up the name Palestine?
In history.
Who invented that name?
Before they divided Palestine in half, they invited y'all with welcoming arms. You can see it on video as y'all coming off the fucking boats.
So we ain't gonna get into all that part, but we're gonna get into the part where he said Jewish is made up. And it is, guys. It is. Let me show y'all. I mentioned this earlier in the stream. Let's look up the word Jewish real quick before we go any further. Jewish occurs one time in one verse in the King James Version. Jewish occurs one time, guys. Nowhere in the Old Testament with Exodus, Genesis, does it say Abraham, the Jewish man. This is fake. It's just what it is. They made it up. Jewish occurs one time, and it's way in the New Testament, which by Jewish religion, Judaism doesn't even appear in the Bible. You guys like to swim in the lies and have arguments within the lies. I hear people who are critical of Jewish religion and the Israel as we know it today, and you use words like Judaism and whatnot. That ain't in the Bible. You swimming in the same lie, man, you can't win if you swimming in a lie. You got to step out the lie and tell the truth. Jewish is fake. There's no word Judaism in the scriptures. Jewish occurs one time. And guess what it says? Of all the things it could be saying with the word Jewish, look at what it says. Ironically, this is Timothy 1:14. Not giving heed to Jewish fables and commandments of men that turn from the truth. Wow. Of all the things. Not giving heed to Jewish fables. Why would the word Jewish fables or the term Jewish fables be popular in Roman conquered Judea? If you understand anything about the New Testament time frame, the Romans had conquered Judea. But they didn't conquer it directly. They used Jewish people to do it. Who are Jewish people? Esau, Edom, Herod. Herod was given authority over Judea by the Romans. And he didn't come by himself, ladies and gentlemen. He brought all his family members with him, all his kinsmen with him. And they were running around there like they do in America, saying that they have some kind of claim to the birthright. Herod was Jewish. Okay? When you see images or read scriptures of Jesus arguing with these Pharisees, not even arguing with them, but telling them about who they were, he wasn't talking to ethnic Jews. He wasn't talking to ethnic Judah, ethnic Levi, ethnic Benjamin, ethnic Ephraim. He was talking to Herodian Edomites. Another trick they play when they say, oh, we're from the seed of Abraham. Yeah, they are from the seed of Abraham. That's another truth, but it's deceptive. So it's a lie. Because guess who else comes from Abraham? Esau comes from Abraham. They always talk about the seed of Abraham. They never talk about the seed of Jacob. Israelites come from Jacob. It's Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. But they always want to push it back to Abraham. It's a spiritual battle. These people are lying to y'all with words. There is no Jewish people in the Bible. Not like that. This is not a book of Jewish people, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into Jacob and Esau. And this is what's going on today. This is what's going on today. Whether y'all understand this or not, this is what's going on today. We're going to go back in Genesis. Black Americans, Black Caribbeans, those that were conquered from Dumb Diverses, Manifest Destiny, the Doctrine of Discovery, all these campaigns. If you notice, America was under siege, it appears, right? Because America was attacked by France, the Spaniards, the Portuguese, the English, right? The Dutch. They had a lot of different people come. The Spaniards, if I haven't said them already, come over here and conquer this place. It was under siege, literally. And everybody who was caught up in that are the true children of Jacob, of Israel. Not the people you see running around here today. That's just what it is. And I'm telling you, you sit tight. And I'm telling you right now, as sure as I'm sitting here in this chair, that truth will be revealed and accepted one day. One day, that will be known and accepted. The same way y'all believe 2 + 2 is 4, the same way y'all believe 1 × 1 = 1, everyone will believe and know that we are the biblical seed of Jacob. It will be proclaimed. I'm going to tell you who Jewish people are right now. And you're going to see how this story is playing out right now. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Right now, we're going to start with Isaac and his wife, Rebecca. This is the birth of Jewish people and the birth of Black Americans and the Blacks of the Americas. Let me call them that. The Blacks of the Americas. Not the Blacks of Africa. We're not Kenyans. We're not Somalians. We're not Ethiopians. We're not those people. So this is the birth of Jewish people and the Blacks of the Americas right here. Genesis 25 and 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. So Isaac and Rebekah got together eventually, and she got pregnant. For a while, she couldn't get pregnant. Watch this. Genesis 25, 22. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, Lord, excuse me. And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. So she was pregnant, but the children were in her belly struggling. There was some stuff going on. She was having a rough pregnancy. And she's saying, Lord, if I'm pregnant and it's a good thing, why am I struggling in my pregnancy? And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. So this right here lets you know that she's pregnant with twins and 2 nations are in her womb. That means it's not a heresy, or it's not a crazy to think, how could quote unquote Blacks of the Americas and Jewish people come from the same belly? It tells you right there that 2 nations are in thy womb. And there's been accounts, even in today's time, where 2 Black people can lay down and have twins and have a baby that comes out very, very fair skinned, and another one come out as dark as me. It's very likely. But if you notice, 2 quote unquote fair skinned people can't make a child as dark as me. So it's not uncommon for this to be real. This is real. This even happens today. So 2 nations are in thy womb. That's what you see now in the world. Okay. Now let's broaden it out. Okay. Let's consider the womb as the earth. Let's consider the womb as the geopolitical structure of the world we live in today. And right now, we're struggling together. Blacks and the Blacks of Americas and Jewish people. There's a struggle. There's a struggle going on in the womb. Okay? Watch this. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. Here's it. Here's the key. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau. They called his name Esau, ladies and gentlemen. They called his name Esau. I don't know why I did that. He was red all over, like a hairy garment. Go look at modern day Jewish people. Are they not red and hairy? It's just what it is. This is what I see. Okay? I'm going to take a quick break right here. Y'all get a drink. I'm going to get me some more coffee, and we're going to continue on. If you're in here, make sure you hit that like button. I have to take a quick break. I'll be back shortly. Give me 1 second here. All right, I'm back. Check it out. I want to say this real quick. I want to say this. Why don't they ever mention Esau? Why don't they ever mention Esau? We just saw this guy here. I don't know why this did that. I'm going to refresh it and go back to the story. They never mention Esau. These guys, I don't know why I did that. Why is it doing this? Maybe that's why. Let me see. Here it goes. They never mention Esau. Have y'all noticed that? They'll talk about Israel and this and that and the third. They never mention that Jacob had two sons. Not Jacob, excuse me. Isaac had two sons. They never talk about that. They never talk about that. What are they hiding? You see guys like this, like I just showed y'all earlier, sit here and talk about how you got to bless Israel and this, that, and the third. They'll never mention the fact that there was a twin
of our national life.
There was a twin in the womb. There's twins in the womb. There's two. Where's Esau today, ladies and gentlemen? Now, when you hear the word, I want to make sure, I'm glad I took a break. I had time to get my thoughts together. When you see it says two nations, don't think about the word nations the way we hear nations today. Right now, you think about nations and you think about stuff like France, the United States, Panama. Nations in this sense is talking about peoples. People are a nation. And I'm going to give you an example and kind of bring it home for you. Japan has Japanese people. Whether or not if they had a nation or a country called Japan, those Japanese people would still be a nation of people. If I picked up every Japanese person from Japan, scooped them up, and put them in Argentina, they would still be a nation of people. So in the context of nation here, it's not talking about how we see nations today, United States, like I said, France and Netherlands and all this other crap. It's talking about a people group. They never tell you that there was Jacob and Esau. I'm also shortly going to explain to you where this whole idea of anti-Semitism comes from right here in the Bible. And I'm going to ask you a rhetorical question after we read this chapter in the Bible. So we see here that there's two people, okay? And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. They called his name Esau. Now, rabbis will tell you today through their teachings that Esau represents Rome and represents the West and Christianity. That's not how Esau is described here in the book, though. It describes Esau as a man with a lineage, not an ideal, not ideals, not a religion, not the West. The West is an idea. This is not, what they say is not scriptural. It's not based in truth. They're liars and the fathers of it. It's just what it is, ladies and gentlemen. You got to come to grips with it. They're liars and the fathers of it. It doesn't say here the West. Esau is a man. And Esau had children. He had descendants. It's not a religion. It's not an ideology. It's a physical bloodline in earth. Now look at how they describe Jacob in Genesis 25 and 26. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. And the boys grew. Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. This tells you right now, it tells you that they're different, and just in their mannerisms and how they interact with the world. Jacob was a plain man. He was complete. He was simple. Esau was all over the place getting into shit, though. So that's another reason why guys like Ye, Kodak, and Kendrick say that blacks of the Americas are the Jews. There's two running around, guys. There's two running around. You're getting played, ladies and gentlemen. Now here's where anti-Semitism comes from. Now they titled this particular chapter, the book of Obadiah is only one chapter. And they labeled it, Edom will be humbled. Now I want you to close your eyes and envision this chapter of the Bible talking about you and your people. Regardless of who you think Edom is, it doesn't matter right now in the context that I'm going to bring this chapter. I want you to envision that if this book and these prophecies were talking about you, if it was describing you, excuse me. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord. An ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. So far, let's just look at it between the blacks of the Americas and Jewish people. Who does this sound like more right now? Where it says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart have deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, would they not have stolen till they had had enough? If grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? This is a beautiful verse right here. Because when you look into this word searched out and get an understanding of how are the things of Esau searched out, you realize that it's talking about his brother Jacob. See, the dynamic between Jacob and Esau, it's a beautiful dynamic because Esau was given a blessing to be able to take out his brother Jacob and his descendants. But likewise, Jacob is the only one that can spiritually undo Esau. So Jacob searched out is another way of saying Jacob as well. When you look into the Hebrew meaning of that word, search out is one of the understandings. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and the understanding out of the mount of Esau? And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed to the end that every one of the mounts of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. This is what it says in here. It says cut off by slaughter. So whoever Esau is and Edom is, his people, according to the book of Obadiah, it says they're going to be cut off by slaughter. But why though? Is it for any reason? It says, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Like I mentioned earlier, every time the Israelites were conquered or subdued or put into captivity by another nation of people, such as the Greeks, the Romans, the Persians, the Babylonians, even a little bit with the Assyrians, Esau was always the middleman. Esau was always there, meddling, being that in between, sitting with the leadership of the other nations to help destroy his brother Jacob. Always there, selling his birthright to Rome, selling his birthright to the Greeks, selling his birthright to the Babylonians, selling his birthright to the Persians and Medes, selling his birthright to whoever is in charge of the United States of America. That's what he does. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. Guys, who does that sound like? Who's carried away captive? I talked about dumb verses earlier. Who was carried away captive? The Americans, the blacks of the Americas were, ladies and gentlemen. How do I need to say this word? Or say this? The blacks of the Americas were carried away captive. Some were situated on the west coast of Africa, and they gathered them up as well. Some of them, but a lot of them were already here. A lot of us are already over here. This is our land. Y'all gonna find out that Jerusalem is right here in this place they call America. This ain't the first merry-go-round for this land, guys. The Romans been over here before, the Greeks. This is an old story. This is an old story, ladies and gentlemen. But it says Esau, he was like one of those. He was like one of the people that like Jacob wasn't his brother. So he took part in the plundering of the land by the French, by the Spaniards, by the Portuguese, by the English. He was like one of them. We know the story of the transatlantic slave trade and that several of Jewish bankers, the Jewish apparatus is what I'll call it, played a major role in that particular endeavor of the slave trade. That's not a lie. That's just what it was. But thou shouldest not looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of their distress. That's exactly what they do now. It's happening right now. The blacks of America, of the Americas, are strangers. We have no idea who we are. We're strangers of the earth. We have no land. We have no language. We have no culture. We become a stranger in living color. In real time, we are now strangers. Think about that. Think about it. It says they entered into the gate of thy people in the day of their calamity. Yeah, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. So when we lost our identity through force, they stepped in and said they're Jewish. They laid their hands on our substance. Y'all better hear me. Neither shouldest thou, let's check this out. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. So when you get a quote unquote black American that stands up and says, blacks are the Israelites, and I'm talking about those, not necessarily the camps that say it, because they don't really, they care about them people, but it's not as effective as a Nick Cannon saying it. It's not as effective as a Ye saying it. And what do? When Ye escapes the mental trap, when Nick Cannon escapes the mental trap, when Kyrie Irving escapes the mental trap and says, we are these people, they stand there and block them, cancel them. They stood in the crossway, ladies and gentlemen. Here it goes. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thy own head. That's why you have all these heathen nations right now bitching about what's going on in their countries. You hear all the Europeans now. Where all these Muslims come from? We're losing our country. We hear all these Americans, oh, we're losing our country. Well, your reward is going to return upon your own head. You're getting exactly what you put out. You were the invader, so you shall be invaded. You reap what you sow, ladies and gentlemen. You think it won't touch you? Really? If God allowed this to happen to the children of Israel, everything I just described in here, what makes you think it won't happen to you? What? Who do you think you are? The scriptures say it rained on the just and the unjust. You think God's glory, God's judgment doesn't affect everyone? Everyone gonna get wet when it rains, homeboy. Don't come whining now about you losing your country. What do you think the people who were here when the Spaniards came, when the French came, when the Portuguese came, they were saying we're losing our country too. But now you stand proudly on top of those remains. It don't work like that. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yeah, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. Those are bars. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. You watch that happen. In the house of Jacob shall be a fire, in the house of Joseph a flame, in the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath spoken it. Imagine this talking about you and your people. It already said you're going to be cut off by slaughter. Esau may be cut off by slaughter. Then it goes on to drop it in the second verse. You know what I mean? These are bars here. There shall be none, not any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord has spoken it. And they of the south shall possess the mounts of Esau, and they of the plain, the Philistines. When you understand the word Philistines, it means immigrants. Doesn't America have a lot of immigrants now? And they shall possess the fields of Ephraim and the fields of Samaria, and Benjamin shall possess Gilead. And the captivity of this host of the children of Israel shall possess that of the Canaanites, even unto Zarephath. And the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Shepharad, shall possess the cities of the south. And saviors shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's. That's where anti-Semitism comes from. This is why Esau has to put into your mind this whole idea of being exterminated. This is where the fear comes from, ladies and gentlemen. This is where their unreasonable ways come from, ladies and gentlemen. From this book right here and these prophecies. So that when the day comes that this judgment is set forth, the common man or those that are blind are not going to understand the difference between man and what man proclaims and what the Lord has proclaimed. This is the origin of anti-Semitism. This is the fear of being annihilated. This is where the terms and phrases like, does Israel have a right to exist, come from? Because the prophecy says they're going to be cut off forever. That's what the book says. And I laugh a little bit, you will hear people get mad at black people for reading the Bible and reading scriptures like this. Remember when Jay Ivey was going on calling people unrighteous, right? Everybody had to jump on and say, you shouldn't be saying that. Well, according to the narrative in the story, y'all gave us the book. Remember, we're just savages. Y'all gave us this book, remember? We didn't know nothing about this, remember? Before y'all gave it to us. That's the narrative. So how is the narrative going to be that you gave me this book in my captivity, and now when I read from the book, you say I'm preaching hate? Think about these people and their hypocrisy, guys. Everything is hypocrisy. Everything's a lie. Everything is unjust. Nothing makes sense. This is an ungodly situation we're in right now, ladies and gentlemen. But like Ye said on his new album, the truth hurts, homie, tough love. The truth is going to hurt a lot of people. And it shouldn't. It absolutely shouldn't, ladies and gentlemen. The truth makes you free. A lie binds you. When you tell a lie, now you're bound by that lie and you become a prisoner to that lie. When you believe a lie, it's not setting you free because now you're being controlled by that lie. Lies are made to imprison you. Let's look at another reason why Kodak says that we're Jews. Why Ye says we're Jews. Why Kendrick says that we are the Israelites. Moses knew what was up. So this is Israel coming out of Egypt. Moses is close to death. And he lays out some rules and regulations for the Israelites. And he lets them know that, hey, these are the commandments, okay? Follow God, follow the truth, follow the righteous path, and these good things will happen for you. You will be a light unto the world. People will love you. Nations will follow you. And then he laid out what would happen when we fell away from those righteous laws of God, when we fell away from the truth. The scriptures categorize them as the blessings and the curses. It's in Deuteronomy chapter 28. The first 14 or 15 verses talks about all the good things that would come if we follow God, follow the truth. And then from 15 to 68 is all the things that would happen if we fell away from the truth and fell away from God. And you can read them on your own time. But here's one of the most important verses, or I'm not going to say important because nothing's more important than the other. Here's a very interesting verse that fits us to a T. The blacks of the Americas. And the Lord, this is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. This is talking about slavery. This is literally talking about slavery. Who else went to Egypt with ships? Now, when you look into this word Egypt, it's not talking about the literal Egypt. It's talking about a condition of bondage. Remember, the Israelites had just left Egypt. It's talking about a mental state. It's talking about a condition of you being a servant, a slave. And when it says no man shall buy you, I've heard a lot of people break this down into different things. I'm going to tell you what I think it means. I think it means no man shall buy you in a sense of nobody buys what we're saying. When Kodak says that blacks are the Jews, no one's buying it. When Kendrick makes a whole album and says on his albums that we're Israelites, nobody's buying it. When Ye, the most famous quote unquote black American there is on earth, and most influential black American on earth says that we are Jews, no one's buying it. No one's gonna buy you. Y'all rather hear Megyn Kelly speak on this shit than a guy like me. Y'all rather hear Alex Jones run his mouth rather than me. Y'all don't want to buy what I'm saying. Y'all rather buy it from Nick Fuentes, who I don't dislike Nick Fuentes, but y'all rather hear it from Nick Fuentes because he fits the criteria better than you, slave, sub-Saharan African. We rather hear it from Tucker Carlson. We rather hear it from one of these white pastors. They fit the image of Jesus a little bit better than you. We rather hear it from them. We don't want to buy what you're selling. No man shall buy us. You can look at this whole conversation around Israel's influence over America right now, and you'll notice one thing if you haven't already. Where's the strong, relevant, truthful black male voice in the conversation? The conversation is being dominated by Japhetic nations, or as you call them, Europeans. Matter of fact, there's some Chinese guy running around who went viral a couple of times. Some Professor Chan or whatever the hell his name is. They'd rather hear it from a Chinese man. You'd rather hear it from a Turk named Chink Uyghur or some Iranian named Patrick Bet David than hear it from a guy like me, right? That's on purpose, ladies and gentlemen. That's on purpose. The reason they're letting these people talk about this situation right now is because they know, okay, those with the information, those that have the real information know that those bloodlines have no spiritual authority. They have zero spiritual authority. Nowhere in these pages does it say that the Japhet is going to raise up and change the hearts and minds of the people. Nowhere does it say that Hamitic people are going to rise up and change the hearts and minds of the people. It says Israel, Jacob, a star from Jacob. I just read it here. I read it. What does it say right here? And Savior shall come up on Mount Zion. The Saviors are from Zion. The world going to have to realize that your salvation is going to come through those who you call Black Americans. And those of us that are really walking in the spirit, we don't hate anyone. I love Esau. I love my brother Esau. I love the Japhetic nations. I love the Hamitic nations. I love every soul created. I can't even account for my own soul. I can't take credit for being me. I didn't pick my parents. It wasn't like I was in the spirit world and I said, oh, I want to come and be a Black American. That decision was made outside of my control. God did that. So how can I take pride in something that I had no part of? I didn't choose that. So if I didn't choose to be quote unquote Black, how can I hate you for being white? How can I hate you for being Esau? How can I hate you for being an Iranian? We love everyone. And see, love looks like hate in today's world. And what does love mean? See, y'all think of love as some feeling inside. No, love just means that I'm going to tell you the truth. I'll tell an Iranian, I'll tell an Edomite, I'll tell somebody from Japhet or Ham the same thing I would tell my son in things of morality. I'm not going to tell my son something good that's good for life and then go into the next guy because he's quote unquote white and tell him something bad. Why would I do that? So I love all souls. And I encourage everyone to walk in that same spirit. Forgiveness. A lot of brothers is down on forgiveness right now. I don't want to forgive. I ain't forgiving these white people. And forgive. Man, forgive is a superpower, ladies and gentlemen. Don't y'all know that? That forgiveness is one of Zion's superpowers? That's a superpower. Does forgive mean to allow people to lie to you or to accept lies? No. But vengeance is of the Lord. Understand that. And if forgiveness was such a good thing, this system wouldn't spend all this money to keep you in the unforgiving spirit. They put these movies out, they put these concepts out to keep you in an unforgiving spirit because they know that's bad for us. It doesn't work for us. We're different. We're different. We don't, Ye said in Bully, this engine don't run off of hate, yo. No, greed. He said it doesn't run off of greed. That's the actual lyric. They do, not us. We are the high road. Don't let these people bring you to them. They're the non-forgivers. They're the haters. They're the liars. And we're the complete opposite. I showed you in the Bible in Genesis where it says, 2 manner of people shall be in thy womb. We're not the same. All right. So I didn't get any chats. I had a couple people in and out. I appreciate whoever's in here watching this. For those who came in late, I encourage you to watch the whole thing. I'm gonna come on here tomorrow as well. We're gonna talk some more. Not sure how long I'll be on tomorrow, but I do appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button. If you have a question, I'll stick around for a few moments. Any questions, anything to add? If you want to send some encouragement, feel free to do that. I definitely would appreciate that either way. All right. But it's time to get active again. Shout out to Ye, man. Shout out to Ye. Ye's been all over the world right now preaching the gospel, whether y'all understand that or not. Preaching the gospel. He's preaching the gospel. And I'm going to talk about Ye tomorrow some more because I don't think y'all realize, and I'll give you a little sneak peek, Ye is the most powerful man on earth, whether you understand that or not. Isn't that amazing? That of all the human beings on earth, the most powerful man is a descendant of a slave. Isn't that amazing? He's more powerful than Elon. He's more powerful than Trump. He's more powerful than Putin. He's more powerful than the Chinese guy over there, Xi, whatever his name is. He's more powerful than any Ayatollah. He's more powerful than anybody. And he doesn't own one nuclear weapon, right? He doesn't have any CIA propaganda. He just has a lot of love and a lot of people that love him. And I think that man has something in store for us. And there's going to be those that go up against it, just like the book of Revelation said they would. And it's going to be a sad day for them. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. You watch. So with that being said, man, I appreciate it. Those who did stop by, watch the replay, or those who popped in live for a moment there. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, get myself ready for tomorrow morning. And with that being said, I love y'all, and I'll see you next time.